began with the US election. I voted via absentee ballot a month ago. I got my official ballot, my absentee ballot for voting in the election. I am a person who votes. It says ID not required. Oh! They have English, they have Spanish, they have Vietnamese, and they have Korean. So that's like the instructions. This is, you have two envelopes. You have the internal ballot, and then you have the, like, anything that you also have to submit with it on the outside. So this is your official absentee ballot is inside this envelope. Do not open until you've read the instructions. Postmarked no later than election day and received before noon on Friday following the election.
When is the election?
November.
November started with a very exciting day, was US election day.
Today's election day!
Election day.
It was 7 a.m.
7 a.m. I woke up like I was like, Soo Zee, election results.
I have ice cream.
Susie's gonna write to ice cream for breakfast.
I learned it takes more than a day. Well, it takes more than 4 hours for the votes to be counted. But in Korea, it's like mostly like done in like 8 hours, you know. It's a big country. It took, I think, 4 to 5 days to really determine the next elected president. And we pretty much was like following the news and looking at all the updates, and like we were like following. Oh no!
Trump wins Texas.
Pennsylvania.
Yeah. Pennsylvania's 66% in.
Just came Minnesota. Now we have Virginia is a blue state, and waiting for other states to definitely open, and it's gonna be a long day. Biden wins Michigan, fueled by high turnouts in Detroit. By the way, I didn't vote.
You're an African American. Day 4, we're eating lunch now during the work times.
And it's very, very close. Like Georgia, Biden.
49.4 and 49.4.
But the votes are very like neck to neck. But Biden is definitely has exceeded a little bit, like maybe under 1,000 votes. You said, like it's definitely ahead.
Yeah.
Whoa! And then also Pennsylvania, they're very neck to neck. Whoa!
In other news, we have dining room chairs now.
Fire!
We can both sit down at the same time. Yeah, CBS News is the one that we can get streamed live on the Apple TV, so that's the one we're watching.
Oh my god, it's like 49.
Oh my god!
Like, are you serious? I think it's the best TV show.
I was saying at work, it's like a sport. It's like watching the World Series. It's very interesting to me because it doesn't seem to matter what country or continent I live on. A lot of people seem extremely interested in the American election, which I always find surprising because I know next to nothing about how the government of Germany works, but all the people I meet seem to know in great detail about the American Electoral College, about how our vote counting process goes, about the Senate. They seem to know more about American election processes than most Americans seem to. So we went to class today as well. Today was a class day. We went to our language class. And like, it was so funny. I walk into the room and everyone's like, let's talk about the election, American. Tell me about the election, American. Who do you want to win, American? It was very like, I felt like cornered. Like, we're talking about politics in a language class now. I'm just here to practice my komme aus den USA. Like, what is this? So twice a week in the evenings, I go to just like a local school in my neighborhood, and some very nice lady teaches me some German. It became really pretty clear after a few months that I couldn't really do anything here in Germany without actually speaking German. So I think it was a more functional problem I had to learn German. So I'm pretty happy about it to learn German. First day of class.
We're here at our reading classes.
We're from the same household, so we can sit next to each other. Everybody else has to sit a meter and a half apart.
But still, we have to wear masks.
It's our first day of class today. So we got a textbook, and then we got a workbook, and then we also bought notebooks.
And pens.
And pens, like real students.
Student, and it's like student notebook, no?
It is. It even says student.
I wouldn't say it's the best class I've ever been to of learning.
It's not very intense. It's not very intense.
Because Korean are very like competitive in learning. They learn everything. They learn how to. There's always going to be a class for something. So I'm very used to like concise teaching, get to the point teaching, and test, you know?
So what happens at the end of the course? And she was like, the course ends. What do you mean what happens at the end of the course? And I was like, is there a test? Or do we get a completion certificate? Or is there some kind of... But she was like, no, the course just ends and that's the end of it.
Like you test after a certain like period of time to like actually make sure you not understand, it's like know about it. So I'm very used to that type of teaching.
I guess I've been so brainwashed by like my educational experiences into thinking like there's got to be like something at the end that you work towards besides just learning the language.
So it's like up to you, and I'm like, who does this up to you? Like, why are you giving me the hand? I want, you know, it's not the solely motivation for me to be tested, and it shouldn't be like that. But I do feel there's a more relaxed structure of learning.
We're not even doing the whole thing. We're doing the first half of the first level, and there's only 5 of us in this damn class, and still people don't come, which is like, I understand that stuff happens in life, and you know, I have no family obligations, I don't have a pet, I work full time, but you know, my job like doesn't usually require me to like work until all hours in the morning. But still, I just find like the general vibe to be very like chill.
I think it's a very inefficient way of learning, and I find that if I were learning German in Korea, it would be I would actually progress really faster in a way. So it's kind of weird.
In this case, you can just recall without them.
We just came from our lessons, and this is after our lessons we kind of do our homework right away.
Yeah,
it's more effective.
We're those students who do the homework right away.
Joe Biden is now President-elect Joe Biden, and Senator Kamala Harris is now Vice President-elect
That's
Kamala
it.
Harris.
Biden just got a big enough lead in Pennsylvania. He got a big enough lead that even with all the uncounted votes or the counties that weren't finished, he got it.
To America.
America. America decided.
Yeah, what do I have to say? It's not my country, but
Yeah, that's the thing. It's not your country, but it feels like for the last however many days, literally just everyone has been talking about it and asking me about it and paying attention. We've put the news on. We never watch the news. The news has been on nonstop.
That was us.
If nothing else, I'm happy it's over so we can get back to a normal sleep schedule.
Okay, it's the phase 2 of the COVID lockdown. And thankfully from November, starting from November and all of November, all the bars,
Starting from today.
So today it's going to close, which means the bar downstairs, the noisy neighbor, ain't no noisy anymore. So they're like completely closed.
Again, lockdown mode, which means like stores will be closed, bar will be closed, restaurants are open but only like for takeout. Like stores, like closed stores and others are open, but they're limited to like how many guests are there and more restrictions.
It's kind of a bummer, especially because now that we're going into Christmas season, like the one redeeming light of this winter is like the Christmassy stuff, the Christmas markets and all that, and then I hear that they're not happening this year, so there's not that much kind of like public event-y stuff to look forward to. It's going to be a very quiet, everybody at home type of season, I think. And it's starting now, but it's till the end of the month, so That's a long lockdown.
So the most important thing that our gym closed. Not ideal. I was looking forward to going to the gym in the winter times because it's so cold. I don't want to work out in the winds and the wets. So yeah, that kind of sucks.
So it's very cold outside, but I dragged Leigh, and she's very grumpy about
it.
to take a walk.
0 degrees out.
I don't think I moved, like physically, in a week or something. So it's getting harder and harder to kind of get out. It's getting cold, but I think we're trying to make an effort to take a walk.
Gym is closed until January 10th, and it keeps getting delayed further and further back. This is the only thing that we can do, really.
Small steps, another walk in the morning in the cold.
It's cold.
And grumpy Leigh. Show me your pets. There's so many dogs.
So many pups.
Oh my god, pup. Cold outside. And it's
Cold
cold.
outside.
Look at the little fogs and mist. Do you feel like Europe?
It is so cold outside. It's not like I'm going for a jog or I really want to get up early and go for a walk. I barely want to leave my apartment. It's so cold. And so it's really kind of a bummer that the gym is going to be closed all throughout November. I'm not happy about that. It's okay, and it's probably for the best for, everybody's health and well-being, but it doesn't mean I have to like it and be happy about it, because I am not. I'm not happy about it. It's not super clear to me what they're protesting either. What do you think?
Me neither. I don't know what the act is.
Actually, there was a big one recently where people were passing in the streets and it was pretty loud and I wasn't sure what they were doing, and then we Googled and it was about protesting against the restriction of Corona.
Berlin will be the scene of demonstrations this weekend against the Corona policy. The police are on duty with around 600 strong. Probably the largest demonstration on Sunday is a silent march from the anti-vaccination camp. Like so many police.
Look at this. This is like cars and cars of police.
It feels like almost as many police as protesters, but that surely can't be right.
No, they're just protecting. There was a lot of police as well at the same time. That was kind of interesting.
Like a lot of police, which I found surprising. I don't know if it's because it was a particularly controversial protest topic to be demonstrating against, or whether just they needed to enforce also safe protesting, social distancing. I don't know why there was, or maybe there's always this many police. I don't know. It's not like I've been to a lot of demonstrations in Germany.
The interesting thing is that the protesters were banging pots and pans, and so there was a lot of that sound going on.
Apparently what we were witnessing was not just a silent protest. There was also people protesting the protest by showing up with noise making to interfere with the protest. So it was I had a lot of trouble figuring out what was going on because it seemed like there was conflicting messages in the protest happening. But there was a protest and then a protest against the protest happening at the same time as folks were walking down the street.
I guess it could be restaurant owners or people who didn't like the restriction the government was giving, because November has been pretty also tough and a lot of because of lockdown.
Try to get out onto the different neighborhood and it doesn't go. It's stopped and we don't know what's happening. And Leigh is Googling seriously, but it's not helping. Currently, the S-Bahn doesn't work. Not only us, even German people are confused. They're asking us what's happening. I'm like, we have no idea as well. When is it coming? We don't know. Why is it not coming? I don't know. Weird. Everybody's confused and looking around, talking to each other, pacing around, doesn't know what to do.
In order to actually get where we're trying to go, we have to now pay $13 to take an Uber.
Unfortunately.
So You'll wake up and like take a train somewhere and then not be able to take a train back because there's a strike. And that is such a European thing to be.
You know what? This is like old Germany experience. Everything we try to do is not working out.
It's just not easy.
I don't know why. Is it a juju thing?
I don't know.
I've never been actually encountered that it fully stops in certain hours because they're striking. Of course, that's the actual meaning of a strike, that there's no people running it, and that's the point of a strike. But in Korea, even though you have a strike, most of the time you don't have a strike. You still keep running, you know, you have to.
So it's like I'm laughing. It's not funny, but it does make me laugh because I feel like that's how I know I'm in Europe, is that like public transit just will stop running all the time because there's a strike.
It's all announced in which hour to which time you will not run, and people are aware of it.
U-Bahn and buses and trams are all on strike tomorrow.
Tomorrow, but the Wednesday is gonna be fine.
Wednesday should be fine. Between 3 a.m. and noon is when they're striking.
Weird.
Jesus.
I like their time. We're giving a time to be striked.
Yep.
Because on Wednesday I have my visa appointment. I cannot miss that. Today I'm going to do some paperwork regarding visa. And they asked me to come today at this time to the 3rd floor. You go in.
So if you go to the government websites about visa and any residency related questions, you will be answered, and it's actually in English. They have English version of the website. However, all the letters from the government will come to you as German. And there's so far, you can translate it with Google Translate. It does give you a gist what it's saying, but sometimes there's certain specific word in German that's totally related to, immigration laws or something. For instance, they have a residency card is a certain word, so those might not be translated well, and you'll be really lost in translation.
Something came. New ID card.
Bum, 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 bum.
Heute, today, wir senden Ihnen Ihren elektronisch
Aufenthaltstitel. Take it out of the case? The online activation function or whatever is not turned on the card, so you have to go get that turned on.
Oh, but why would it not activate it for me? It turns out it's not activated. So they gave me an unactivated card, and I have to contact them for activating it again. And not again, activate it in the first place. So don't give me things that I when I need when I activate it. So if it's already comes in non-activated, give me an information saying if you want this option, please contact us. Then we'll send you a pin. Isn't that how it works? Give me actually gave me things that I cannot do at the first time, and then after a paper doesn't even have a great information or thing what is this for? The information is not clear, and it's that, and
I wonder how much of this is because we don't speak great German.
personally, it's a little struggle. I haven't really studied or learned the language in so long. I just forgot how to. So I'm getting into the habit or forming a new habit to learn the language again. And it's not really easy as I used to learn English or even Chinese back in the days. So it's a little struggle. It's more struggle to kind of memorize things. So I don't know. And it's not an easy language to learn.
So it's a Saturday, and here's what's happening. Soo Zee is studying on Saturday. Some serious dedication here. You've assumed the study position. This is Soo Zee's concentration pose. You got brain snacks. You got your dictionary.
So lame. Intense mode.
Intense mode.
How's your German coming along?
Not good. Nicht so gut. Nicht so gut.
Secret Asian study methods review
No, really.
for the first time on this channel.
No, not really. Color pens. I googled Japanese note taking because I heard it's a thing. They had a lot of like, what should I say, pens and like colors and color, you know.
So
I implemented just like the feminine and the masculine, and it's like, you know, it's helping.
when I started learning vocabulary, I like didn't worry so much about the articles because I was like, oh, as long as I know the word, they'll know what I mean. But it turns out that if you don't know the article, like you're kind of screwed. You have to know the genders of all the words because all the adjectives that come before it, and then all the cases change the articles, and so like you have to know the articles. And if you want to say not something, you have to know a different article. So like you have to know the gender of the word when you learn it. So you have to learn it together. So now it's like I, memorized however many 300 words or something, or however many words, and then I have to go back and relearn them to know the gender. And then all the time I'll learn a new word, and then I don't know what the gender is, and so then I'm unable to like use it properly in a sentence all the time, which is irritating. So my advice is, if you're gonna learn German, learn the gender with the word.
Yeah, I think gender is important because everything kind of changes around it. Like the accusative and the end word also changes if you're putting all the words together. So you have to know the genders.
I agree. That's a very difficult big thing, is now even words I know, I'm going back and trying to memorize the genders with them. I can see you're excited about this prospect.
Finden Sie? Only okay. I can only ask questions when they answer it. I'm like, okay.
But you had a nice long talk with the Eggman today.
Yeah, because only the conversation so far is how many eggs I want, how much it is, and I give him money.
But hey, all of that we understand now. Remember when we went to the market? Do you remember the very first time we went to the market and we were talking to the pickle lady and we didn't know how to say anything? I feel like the pickle lady is my prime reason for wanting to learn German. Because I want to say things like, see you next weekend and thanks for your pickles and how are you doing? But I don't really know how to converse yet. So every day, it's like, every time we go, it's like a slightly new increment. Like today I was able to say, I have only a 50. Is this too big of a bill? And then I think we just figured out how we might say, see you next weekend. Now you can have a basic transactional conversation.
The problem is there's no time to really use it. And I think the best thing is actually memorizing a phrase and you know exactly when you're going to use it. So I try to memorize a phrase about, can I get 20 eggs, please? And then I just practice that. And then if the person understood it, it's like gold star. And after whatever he asked, you don't have an answer, but that's okay. So I just memorize and practice, memorize and practice.
So we're in a stage where we're actually kind of recognizing words, and the word we recognize right now is, where is it? Umzug. It's somewhere there, right?
It's on the side of the truck.
Yeah.
What does Umzug mean, Susie?
Moving.
Also, we've noticed like things are just called what they are. Like it's very just like
Direct.
What is this? It is the cake store. What is this? It is the bookstore. What is this? It is the People's Bakery. Like it's all just named what it is. It's extremely descriptive.
We're talking about how unimaginative store names are, right? Look at what do you think that corner store sells?
Books.
Yeah, right? Just books. We're guessing that store sells books.
We also passed a place up there that it's literally called Wine, Tobacco, and More. It's pizza to go. Would you like to get some pizza to go at Pizza to Go?
Asia stuff.
Wash Center.
Diva.
original.
Die Bar.
Which means the bar.
15:30 Uhr. Verstehen Sie? 15:30 Uhr.
3, right? 3:30?
Ist jemand da?
Yeah.
15:30 Uhr morgens.
Yeah.
Yes.
Dann bis gleich, ja?
Yeah. I guess. I'm like, she's trying.
She is.
So I'm getting in my. I had this
So
problem.
hard.
I feel like, why do we have to make an appointment via phone? Obviously, I don't understand.
Can you please do it with D-Bear?
Let's clap.
You're so stressed out. Look at Susie stressed out by it.
I'm so stressed out to do anything, like, which is not ideal. Like, even go to a post office. Basically, I had to, like, drag Leigh, and, like, even though she doesn't even speak German, I just, like, have to, like, let's go together.
Susie does this thing where she comes over and she's like, Leigh! Leigh! Like, I don't know German either, woman! Your guess is as good as mine.
I just don't, it's so stressful to, like, face anything that I don't understand. So
I really don't think it's about like language or linguistic ability, because someone told me this once and it completely changed my opinion of language learning. They're like, Leigh, how many idiots can speak English? I was like, oh my god, a lot. There's a lot of stupid people in this world that can speak English. Because it's not about like some sort of special magical language learning ability. It's really not. 4-year-olds can do it. Like, we as adults have way more abilities to learn language than 4-year-olds do. It's just very difficult for your ego to be bad at it. So it makes it emotionally difficult to learn language, but like, you have all the faculties that a 4-year-old does, and like, they learn it just fine. And will you be perfect? Will you probably sound like an idiot, like a 4-year-old who makes mistakes? At times you will. But like, it's not some difficult magical thing that only people who are good at languages can attain. I really don't think that.
look at Leigh doing some homework.
Wir nehmen unsere Hausaufgaben zum Deutschkurs mit. Ich habe auch sehr viel Arbeit.
Leigh is also doing Duolingo.
Anrufen, einkaufen, zurückbleiben. So instead we're doing our homeworks on the ground, next to the table. It's okay, we're used to this.
Ja, I hope you enjoyed the course.
Bye. Auf Wiedersehen.
Auf Wiedersehen, of course.
Today we are getting a Christmas tree.
Okay. A little tag for my dad. Mulled wine.
Oh, that's so cute.
I don't have a second pot.
What the hell? I hear the German people do this. They're like everywhere.
Pretty exciting day.
It's 4:30 and super dark.
And look at how dark it is.